Hey there, kids. It's everybody's least favorite YouTuber, B3, back with another icking graphic novel review. So, what did we do last time? Superman Imperious Lex? Well, today we're actually having... Superman's in this book, but, it's not his book. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. Volume 5. Twilight of the Guardians. Now, many of you may know that Hal Jordan is actually my favorite superhero. Specifically because of the Jeff Johns run on Green Lantern, which I think I've reviewed most of. I think I've reviewed all the Jeff Johns Green Lantern books except for one. I'll do that eventually. But today we're doing this current Hal Jordan book. What they did was, because during the New 52 there was the Green Lantern book, which was Hal Jordan, and then the Green Lantern Corps book, which was everybody else. And for this title, they just slapped them together. So it's all the four dude Green Lanterns that everyone knows and loves. And then Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz had their own book, and they're Green Lanterns that are just on Earth. They just fight. They just do Earth stuff. And then this is the intergalactic book. And then this book ended, and then now there's a Green Lantern title that's, I think, just Hal Jordan again. But still pretty cool. So Volume 5, Twilight of the Guardians. I'm going to read you the back like I always do. The Emerald Strike Force assembles. The word is out. Sinestro has returned. Wherever this tyrannical former Lantern goes, hell is sure to follow. And when Hal Jordan travels to Earth to bring his former partner to justice, hell is exactly what he finds. Another of his oldest enemies is under attack from a surprising source, and he's unleashed all his powers to save his skin. If that means harnessing the evil entity called Parallax to corrupt the world's greatest hero, Superman, so be it. But an even greater threat has a Madman of Steel. Then a Madman of Steel awaits the Emerald Knight. From the darkest depths of the cosmos, the all-powerful controllers have returned, threatening to settle their ancient grudge against the Guardians once and for all. It will take a strike force of Earth's first four Lanterns, Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Guy Gardner, and Kyle Rayner, to save their old mentors and the universe. If the Lanterns fell, all of creation will pay the price. Exploding from the pages of the blockbuster DC Rebirth of... Sorry, it's a fly. Event, it's action-adventure and conspiracy on a cosmic scale in Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, Volume 5, Twilight of the Guardians. As writers Robert Venditti and artist Patrick Zurcher and Jack Herbert team up Hal Jordan with his greatest allies against his deadliest foes. Collects issues 30 through 31 and 33 through 36. Very cool. So, there are a couple different stories in this one. First up, there's Hal being sent to Earth because Superman reported Sinestro and Parallax, and Sinestro was thought dead in the first volume of this book. So that was on Gucci Gang. And then he goes there, and it seems like Parallax possesses Superman, but it's actually an illusion created by Hector Hammond that seemed to serve no purpose at all, except to have a reveal that it wasn't really Parallax. I don't know. I feel like that was that could have been an actual story, and it was just wasted as a throwaway gotcha. But then the Krolotayans come back to get Hector Hammond, because remember, they created Hector Hammond, which we already talked about in a previous Green Lantern review, I believe. And Black Hand. They sort of created Black Hand as well, but Black Hand's ring is part of his destiny, but his death touch was Krolotayan. So, they come to harvest Hector Hammond's brain, and Hal Jordan and Superman stop them, and then that's pretty much that story. It's not a very long story, and it's not the most interesting story. It was a very good portrayal of Superman. Sometimes when superheroes guest star, they aren't written like they're currently being written in their solo titles, which can be a little weird, but this Superman felt like he was the exact same Superman as in his Rebirth book, so that was pretty good. And then Hector, well, not Hector Hammond, but the Krolotayans used Hector Hammond's brains to create fantasy worlds for Superman and Hal to live in, which they broke out of relatively easily, like extremely easily. And the Hal Jordan fantasy world, he was with Carol again, And so at the end of the book, he goes to see Carol and takes her flowers, but right before he knocks on her door, he's called away for another mission. And I thought that was actually a pretty nice little moment. He's never going to fucking get with Carol. Even though he's never going to have a permanent thing with her. Even though at the end of Jeff Johns' run, he did say it would eventually happen and they would have a kid. But yeah, I don't see it happening. One of the other things Jeff Johns predicted with Kyle Rayner staying a White Lantern and healing people until his power faded away, that didn't happen either. He's a Green Lantern right now, so that's that. And then the next story is about the controllers. They've captured all the Guardians, and they're going to suck the juice out of the Guardians, and then use that to create more controllers, because the Guardians and the controllers are both descended from the same ancient race, which is kind of cool. And the leaders of the Star Sapphires and stuff are descended from that race as well, etc. And the controllers are going to turn each Guardian into a controller. And then the Emerald Strike Force, which is just the first 4 human Green Lanterns, not counting Alan Scott because he's out of continuity because Dr. Manhattan snatched the lantern from him in Doomsday Clock. But Hal, John, Guy, and Kyle kind of just go by themselves to be a small strike force, and they rescue the Guardians. And then, because Ganthet and Syed were the only ones, but they were kind of advisors and not being active Guardians, and then the other ones were just kind of out in the cosmos. And then there was the one called Raimi or whoever who was doing stuff in the Green Lanterns book for a bit. But then, after all of this, and like 3 of the Guardians died, and then the rest of them became official Guardians of the Universe with their little cloaks and the Green Lantern symbols on them, little red and white cloaks. And I don't really care about having Guardians again. I just don't. I'm kind of used to them being the villains because Jeff Johns, like, the best thing he did in Green Lantern was make the Guardians the villains for pretty much the whole thing. So I'm not sure I care. I kind of liked John Stewart calling all the shots for the Green Lantern Corps, to be completely honest. And at the end, it does reveal that the controllers have a new, like, thing of Dark Stars, which is kind of like their core. I mean, they tried to harness the orange light, but that didn't work out for them. That was forever ago. But they're bringing the Dark Stars back, so that's pretty cool. I'm actually glad to have those back. But all in all, this book was fine. Like, it wasn't a super big story or anything. I didn't feel like it had the biggest impact overall on the title or the DC universe or just DC's cosmic universe or anything, except for the reinstating of the Guardians. But it did have some very good character moments for the Green Lanterns. It had some really good ones for Kyle and Guy, mostly. Hal Jordan's character moment came in the first story with Superman, and then John kind of got a bit of one when he was watching the new young Green Lantern fly for the first time. I kind of like that child Green Lantern, even though I think they shouldn't be a Green Lantern. I mean, Green Lanterns drop like flies. You shouldn't have a child be a Green Lantern. Kind of like how Robin, like, shouldn't, like, ethically exist. This Green Lantern kid should ethically exist less. You're giving a child the most powerful weapon in the universe and then saying, go fight murderous criminals. Like, that's pretty wild. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. I think there might have actually also been some child Green Lanterns right after Jeff Johns' run. Like the very first issue after Jeff Johns ended his run, I think might have had some kid Green Lanterns as well. But we only ever see one of them now. I don't know. But that's it for Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, Volume 5, Twilight of the Guardians. I always enjoy a nice Superman cameo as long as he's, as long as it's done well. Felt like it was justified to have Superman in it because, of course, Superman would need to report his stuff with Sinestro. I think we already reviewed that book where he did fight Sinestro. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because I think we only have one volume of that Superman run left to review before it becomes the Bendis run. And I believe I already reviewed the miniseries Man of Steel that starts the Bendis run, but I'm not super excited about the Bendis Superman. But that's it. What do you guys want me to do next time? Would you like more Green Lantern with Green Lanterns Volume 6, A World of Our Own? Would you like that? Or would you like the very cool Action Comics 1000 Deluxe Edition. I'm leaning towards the Deluxe Edition just to kind of separate Green Lanterns. And also, this is... I've just really been wanting to read this. I actually have the single issue as well, just to keep unread and on card or whatever. But, of course, I had to get to the Deluxe Edition. Ooh la la. So that's it. Let me know which one of those you want me to read next. That's it. Thank you all once again for your support, and I'll see you all later.